Dr. Lou, your partner in personal growth, and I help people who want to live intentionally, free, and happy to do so. So, anyway, who am I, you may ask? Well, for those of you that are not new here, welcome back. It's been too long. I missed you so much, and I'm glad that you're here. For those of you that are not new to my channel or page, depending on where you're watching me, I am Dr. Tarika Lewis. They call me Dr. Lou, and I am a doctor of education as well as a certified life coach. I am hooked on self care and self help, as well as improving human performance and other things which add up to a better life, better living, and a better experience where you can love yourself and enjoy it all while you're here. So, anyway, I want to thank you for joining me today. I want to thank you for showing up to this live. And if you wouldn't mind, while you're here, just jump into the chat, even if you're watching on the replay. And first of all, if you're watching on the replay, drop in hashtag replay so that I know that you're joining me after we've gone live. But if you are here live or on the replay, doesn't really matter. Let me know where you're watching from. Okay. And in the meantime, I just want to reiterate why we're here. We're going to talk about some things that will help you to enjoy your holiday season this year and get off to a good start and not have some more traumatic memories to hash up later with your family. All right. And so while I'm double checking my feeds to make sure that you all can see me and hear me, I want to share with you a few things that inspired me to do this particular topic tonight. So a few questions that I've been asked or that I've heard being asked and that I've researched that I want to just drop into your thinking. And I want you to let me know via an emoji or whatever if you've heard any of these things. Okay. All right, so I am double checking my feed while I'm doing that. I might be looking away from you, but I'm not trying to be rude, and I am here present with you. So some of the questions that I've heard asked are like, how do you handle your emotions during the holiday season? Because a lot of us, we expect ourselves, we push ourselves to be happy and upbeat all the time for everybody else, and we don't necessarily take care of ourselves and give ourselves a reason to be that. Right. So it's a lot of stress going on that we're not dealing with. And that's some of the challenge that I want to talk to you about tonight. But the other thing that happens for a lot of us is that we're overwhelmed. And that's what a lot of people ask, like, why do I feel overwhelmed at the holidays? You would think that since good things are happening, that everything's fine and there's no worries or trouble. So why am I feeling overwhelmed? Well, you're feeling overwhelmed because there's a lot of stuff going on, and we could get off into that, but a lot of it has to do with just being pushed into social settings that you're not used to dealing with, that you don't necessarily have to deal with on a day to day, and so many other things. Okay. But a lot of people ask, why do I struggle to relax at the holidays? You would think that, this is going to be an easy time or just a good time, happy vibes had by all, but I find myself stressed and relaxed and can't relax. So why is that? For a lot of people, it says, why do I feel so alone on the holidays? I've heard people ask, why do people feel lonely during the holidays, period? How do you release trapped emotions from your body during the holidays? This, or just not during the holidays. This is just period for people who are struggling to deal with their emotions. And then there's also those of us that are struggling with the loss, So if you have experienced the loss during this year, my prayers are with you. My love is with you. Just know that you're not alone. There are a lot of people that are experiencing these things and they don't know how to deal with them either. And so for that matter, we're going to work together. The goal is for you to have a happier, healthier holiday. And I'll just be transparent with you while we're here getting started. And this is my last little check of my sound check and everything before we get into it. And I'll tell you that one of the things that um, has a lot to do with me uh, sharing on this topic is that about a few years back, I realized that I was feeling an additional amount of anxiety. Now, I realized that I had some social anxiety before, and this is just, again, me being transparent. I'm not afraid to be real, being transparent and saying I had some social anxieties before. But in addition to all of that, all of a sudden, I was dreading the holidays. And that wasn't like me because even from the time I was a little girl, I would get excited at the holidays. But here I was dreading the holidays. And in addition to dreading the holidays, I wasn't enjoying them, and it got worse and worse. It got worse and worse and worse. And then by the time COVID hit, by the time the pandemic hit and everybody was on lockdown, all of those things piled in together became an excuse to just kind of lock myself away and just not really socialize anymore at the holiday season. And I struggled to get back into the swing of things after the lockdowns were over. And so I really started looking into dealing with, what was really happening. And I can tell you that just some of these tips that I'm going to share with you tonight, I sort of just stumbled across while just trying to live better, feel better, be better. And the truth of the matter is that I started feeling better without realizing that these changes were going to help me do that. And so this year, I'm so excited and I'm feeling joy in my heart. And I just want to share with you so that you can, if you want to, feel the same. All right. Or feel some similar things. So those are a few reasons why this video might be good for you or this live might be good for you. There are more, but this will get us started. All right. So having said that, let's jump right into the first tip. Okay. Again, tips for helping you to have an emotionally balanced holiday season so that you can enjoy it, right? In the midst of all the holly and jolly. Okay. So, number one, you want to keep your healthy habits. One of the worst things we can do is get so busy with the festivities that we're just running around and not really doing the things that we know to do to take care of ourselves. And in those situations, when we do that, those highs that substitute the dopamine rushes and all the good stuff that was coming from eating well and taking care of ourselves, working out, or whatever we were doing, all of those highs that we used to get from those things are substituted by the quick highs of the festive time of the year, of people getting together, of all the fun that we're having. But those highs are followed by rapid and deep, deep lows. So, because we're not doing the things that we used to do to take care of ourselves, to love on ourselves, and to keep ourselves well and upbeat, all of a sudden we have no tools to fight with, no tools to deal with these things, to address the things, the lows that are going to come, and we have no weapons to fight with. And so, taking care of yourself and sticking to your healthy habits are really important. Some examples of healthy habits include your prayer, your meditation, your workouts, right? Get those steps in. Even if you can't get to the gym or do a full-on workout or weights, don't forget to move your body in some way. So anyway, but I will get into that in a second. Eating well and praying and loving. Eating, praying, and love. Sounds like a movie. All right, but take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Don't forget to take care of yourself. All right. That's number one. Keep your healthy habits. Number two, pay attention to your needs. Pay attention to your needs. Listen to yourself. Listen to your body and make necessary changes. So, in addition to the things that you were already doing to take care of yourself, you're going to want to double check to see if there's anything more that you need to be doing. It's just like drinking water, right? Scientists will tell you that there's a certain amount of water that on average most humans need a day. That can change depending on lifestyle. It can change depending on body type and other things as far as the specific amount. But there are different thank you so much for watching. I'm seeing you guys liking the video and I'm distracted. All right. But anyway, so you want to pay attention to things that you might need more of. Where I was going with that is this. Sometimes you may need more water than others, using water as the example. So like if you have a high stress time or you're working out more or you're just doing more physical labor or you're just, maybe, I don't know, your diet's changing or whatever, or your body is changing. You may be going through different things that will require you to need more water than usual. Well, then it's super important to make sure that you get that water. So it might be that you need more rest. If you find yourself feeling drained, don't ignore that. Go ahead and give yourself more rest, whether it's at night. I have found that cat naps help. Right now, I'm not saying that I'm lazing around my house all the time and I'm sleeping all day. However, I will set my timer and I will go into the YouTube app and pull up a 15-minute nap uh, video. And what it'll do is it'll make sure that I get into that deep enough REM of sleep where I can get a good rest, but then still wake back up quickly. And it has been amazing how much more refreshed I am. And that second wind hits and I've got more time during the day. I'm not crashing as much by the end of the day, which was a challenge for me. Now, for those of you that are in my family, I know I still crash sometimes, but it's not the same as it used to be. It's not as bad as it used to be. All right. So anyway, though, if you need extra care, extra water, extra rest, whatever you may need more of. Don't hesitate to give it to yourself. This is a busy time. A lot is being asked of you, probably at work, in addition to at home or in your personal life. And it is okay to take a second to take care of yourself. As a matter of fact, you're going to get more out of this season, more out of you, more productivity if you do that. All right. And you may just need it. Right. And so for some of you, it may be that you need more of the things that you did to unwind. Right. One example is maybe you meditate. Maybe you need to add another little meditation session at the end of the day or throughout the day, later in the day. Now, meditation can be as simple as 5 easy breaths. It is nothing complicated. The bottom line is take care of yourself. So if you wouldn't mind, again, whether you're watching via the replay or live, go ahead and drop down in the comments or the chat an emoji that lets me know how you feel, how well you feel like you're taking care of yourself. Could you use some help? Could you be doing better? Or are you killing it and you're taking good care of yourself and all is well? All right, so let me know. Now, the next tip is breathe. And I say that, and people say, duh, of course I need to breathe. But you would be surprised how many of us go through the day and don't breathe deeply. We do shallow breathing. And that means that we're not getting enough oxygen to our brains. We're not getting enough oxygen to our limbs. We're not getting enough oxygen in our blood. We need more and we don't even realize it. And you'd be surprised how much better you'll feel if you just take a second and breathe. So don't forget to breathe. And the more stressed you are, the more shallow your breathing actually gets. That's why people can hyperventilate. All right. So this is serious, even though I'm laughing, I'm smiling, and you may be rolling your eyes like, what? Really? Remember to breathe. Okay. All right, now, next, move your body daily. Now, technically, this could go back under the first tip, which was make sure that you're doing the healthy things that you need to do to take care of yourself, maintaining your healthy habits. But this is actually a separate one that is very specific. Move your body every day. And it's okay if you weren't already moving your body every day. It's okay if that's something that's going to be new for you. Then add it in the little things. For me, it was just getting a few more steps in. It was taking the stairs instead of taking elevators. It was taking a minute to walk around my house because I work from home. It was taking a minute to walk around the neighborhood. Before I got into the big workouts, before I got into riding my bike, before I got into my HIIT training or whatever I was trying to do to tone my body, just really making a point to add little things that would allow me to move my body every day. It can be as simple as a walk in the park. It can be as simple as getting on a treadmill. I actually made the investment to get a small treadmill that I can put under my desk just so I can move my body without even thinking about it. And it has been an amazing benefit. I can't necessarily say that it's going to automatically have you looking snatched like Megan Thee Stallion or Halle Berry, but I can say that it will cause your energy levels to go up, your mood will be improved, and you will see a difference in areas of your life. And that combined with drinking water and all that other stuff, your skin's going to clear up, a lot of other things are going to happen too. All right, but move your body daily. All right, next I want to talk about something that's super important, and I'm not going to get on a soapbox, although a lot of people do, and that is manage your social media intake. Now, I'm not a social media basher. I almost said something else. I'm not a basher of social media. I don't think that social media by itself is a bad thing or a good thing. And I think that you can control what's on your feed. And because you can control what's on your feed, you can choose to make it a good tool or a tool that's distracting you and getting you in trouble with yourself. That's up to you, but manage it. How much you are on social media, make sure you're taking breaks. And that includes content creators. We need to do it the most. We need to make sure that we're taking breaks. And I'm not talking about getting off of social media at one of the busiest times of the year. I'm saying throughout the day, make sure that you are taking breaks between your working and your tasks that you're doing that matter and that feed your family. Take breaks. You need to be doing that anyway. But when it comes to social media, make sure that you take a moment to enjoy some of the fun stuff on social media. Make sure that you start liking more self-care and self-help content. Because if you do that, then more is going to show up on your feed, and that's going to help boost your mood too. All right. And try not to over inundate yourself with things that are just going to stress you out or cause you to start having FOMO or thinking that you need to be doing more than you're doing. Thank you guys so much for joining. I'm seeing you jumping on right now. I'm gonna take a second to wave at you. There you go. Thank you, Dom, and thank you, Carolina King. It's good to see you. So thank you for the hearts, guys. That means so much. Your engagement means so much. As a matter of fact, I tell you what, why don't we do this? I want you to tell me in the comments with an emoji what your social media game is like. Like, are you scrolling when you need to be doing other things? Do you have the self-control where it's you let yourself scroll? You know it's okay to scroll, but you take breaks from it. Let me know in the comments if you would. And just know that, again, I'm not a judgmental Judy. I'm not over here like saying that it's bad and we need to put the phones down. I don't agree with that, because you can use social media just like anything else for good or negativity. All right. So manage your social media activities. Let's get to our next point. It is call a loved one, connect with them. And I'm not just talking about calling them to make arrangements for where everybody's going to eat on the next holiday. I'm talking about call somebody that you care about, that you would be sad if you couldn't call them and talk to them, and let them know that you're thinking about them, that you're caring about them, or just call them and talk about a bunch of nothing. Earlier last week, I was having a really rough time of it. I was dealing with a whole bunch of stuff. Work was piling up. I was feeling stressed about different things, and I had made a commitment to be more consistent with my content creation. And so I was really running to make sure that that I kept that promise to myself. And I was feeling a little down about some things, and I just messaged a friend, and I didn't message them to tell them how I felt. I didn't message them to ask them for anything. You can do that. Don't be afraid to do that. But for me, the challenge was, let me just connect with another human, because I can be an introvert. I can close in when things get rough. And so I reached out and I just said, hey, I'm thinking about you, and I'm dealing with a lot, and I just need to remind myself that you care about me, that I am connected to you. And you would be surprised how far that goes for your well being and your friendship, because you're letting somebody know that you care about them and that you appreciate them. And that's major. That's major. So just connect, connect, connect. Not the ones that are going to stress you out, though. Like if you got relatives that you know y'all are toxic and y'all just going to argue and stuff, I'm not telling you to call them. That's another thing that we do around the holidays that probably works against our mental health and our well and emotional well-being. I'm not suggesting you increase that content or that contact rather. Okay? Next, this is what I want you to do. Accept what is, give yourself some grace, and smile because you mean it. Not like you mean it, but because you mean it. And not just at others either. When you look in the mirror after you brush your teeth in the morning or whatever, take a second to smile and tell yourself, I love you. Now, for those of you that are going to say that's stupid, you're going to roll your eyes and stuff, I dare you to try it, because you're probably the one that needs it the most. You'd be surprised how many people can't keep looking. They have to look away, or a tear comes up and you didn't even know you had issues with that, because we are taught to try to love everybody but ourselves. And the reality is it's impossible to love anybody else better than you love yourself. So it's like a feedback loop that's never going to complete, never going to fulfill its purpose or your goals that way. So accept what is. And what I mean by that is this: your house is only going to be as perfect as it's going to be. Your family is only going to be as perfect as they're going to be. Your friends are only going to be what they're going to be. So accept what is and let it be what it is and live in it and revel in it. Okay. Um, the quote, and in doing so, I promise you that the feelings that you are feeling overwhelmed by are going to lift and get better, because in doing these things and in smiling, you're right, and reminding you, it tells the brain, scientists have proven that smiling kind of tells your brain that you got something to feel good about, you got something to be happy about. It's kind of like gratitude, right? It begets more of what you're grateful for. And so there's a saying by Reverend Ike used to say back in the day, and that is, stop worrying about your feelings. Tell your feelings how to feel and let your feelings follow you. And basically, it's not acting as if, it is choosing to operate in a state of happiness and joy, knowing that more happiness and joy are going to come, and that you're triggering the parts of you and your creative wisdom that the good has already happened, that it's already in your life, and that it's gonna and then it has to manifest. Okay, so do that. All right, our next tip is check in with your body. Now, I'm not just talking about necessarily in general with that, but the more general sense of it is, are you feeling okay? Do you feel well? Or are you struggling? Are you feeling unwell and you're ignoring it and pushing through? Okay, check in with your body. Check in with your body. And also, when you are at these gatherings, if you feel tense, if all of a sudden you have a pain in a place where you haven't had a pain in forever, listen to that. There may be a person in the room that you don't need to be interacting with. You may know it, but you may have ignored it. You may have tried to suppress it because it's the holidays and you are supposed to. But if it's not healthy for you, find the balance between connecting with people that you don't want to take for granted, or that you would be sad if they weren't here tomorrow or whatever. Find a balance between doing that and still maintaining your mental and emotional health and well-being, because the reality is that sometimes we use that first part of knowing that we need to appreciate people as an excuse for facilitating and allowing toxic behavior that stresses us out, makes us sick, and keeps us from living our fullest potential and fulfilling our purpose. And it's time out for that in 2023. We too many people were lost in the last 3 years for us to still be playing these games. All right, as far as I'm concerned, I know that was another reason why I really had to stop and kind of redirect, give myself what I needed, which was some time alone for a while to then reevaluate, so that when I do show up somewhere, it's authentic. I'm there because I want to be there. I'm there because it's healthy for me and my loved ones for me to be there, and it is in our highest good and for our best interest. And when it's time to go, I'm out. All right. So I encourage you to try that. So check in with your body. Your body will alert you to triggers that you might have overlooked. All right. If you have that feeling in your stomach when you're around certain people, pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. All right. Next, you'll want to manage your time. Now, I've talked a lot about time management. I've probably got a video or two floating around somewhere about managing your time. I know, as it relates to working full time and homeschooling my kids, that I've taught them time management, and it helps them to manage themselves and be more invested in their own well being and academic performance. But I'm telling you now, manage your time. It's going to be busy. It always is. That doesn't mean you have to be busy all the time. So look for ways to better manage your time. Look for techniques that will work. Don't be afraid to Google time management for personal living and things like that. And I have some tools for you too if you need them. And no, this is not a shameless plug, but I do have them. So make sure that if that's one of the things that you need a little support in, that you DM me. I'd be happy to respond and help you out with that. All right. And if you haven't already done so and you're new to this place, please make sure to like and to follow if you're watching me on Facebook or Insta, and subscribe if you're watching me on YouTube. All right. I would appreciate it. All right. I also would appreciate your comments. So at this time, why don't you do me a favor and drop me a comment and let me know how good you are at time management. I want to see something. I'm curious because a lot of people ignore that. They ignore the whole time management piece, and then they're stressed out all the time. They're always late. And I'm not saying that if you manage your time, you won't be late. Being on time for things is a whole separate thing. So don't come for me in the comments for those family members that would like for me to be earlier. I know. I know. I'm working on it. But the goal was to first want to be there everywhere that I'm showing up with love and bringing more joy and more good. So I would say we've definitely got that down pat. So we'll work on the rest of it. All right. All right. Next, don't avoid or minimize your feelings. That is one of the biggest mistakes that we make at the holidays too, right? We want to not only show up everywhere, we want to show up everywhere with a big smile on my face. It's Domplicated says, I manage well, but it could be better. Still feel like there's not enough time in the day. Don't we all feel that way? And I'm going to tell you something that I tell everybody. I'm just jumping back to the time management, guys, before we move forward, because this is super important. When it comes to managing your time, it's like money. Everybody feels like they need more of it, But until you manage what you have, you'll never feel like you need more. I mean, in the case of time, technically, you got the same 24 hours in a day as Beyonce, right? So it's not that you're going to get more time, but you will feel like you have more time the minute that you do the same thing you have to do with your money, and that is manage it. Look at it. The same way you review your budget, the same way you look at your bank account. People who don't tend to overdraw their bank account. They're always in the red and they feel like more money will help. Well, guess what? There are millionaires and billionaires that could be in debt. And you think that is impossible to be in debt if you're a multimillionaire. It's absolutely not. Because if I take in $100 million and spend $200 million, debt is debt. And there are people like that. So if you don't learn to manage what you have, you're not going to have more of it. And if you do learn to manage what you have, then you will start to feel like you can see the light of day and begin to free up pockets of time for yourself, for the people that you love. All right. So going forward, which feels like going back to what we were talking about as well, is don't avoid or minimize your feelings. At the holidays, there's always this pressure to show up with a smile and to act like you're happy, to ignore Auntie so and so who's always got 2 cents about your marital status or who you're with or your kids or the clothes or your job or your weight or your religion or your spiritual practice. There are always going to be people like that. And you know what? Sometimes the best thing you can do is look them squarely in the face and at least let them know that thank you, but that's not necessary, or thank you, you've done enough. Because sometimes the problem is that people don't know how they're impacting the world around them. And sometimes it's best if you want to be non confrontational to just kind of shut that down and block that energy off. I have a little thing that I do when I'm in interacting with or dealing with a situation that I don't want to take in, I don't want more of, and I'll just say that may be true for some, but not for me. And I'll say it to myself and I will say it out loud as I move away, smiling at the person that sometimes they don't even think they're helping. All right. Sometimes they're just trying to spread the misery. All right. So yeah, don't avoid your feelings, but only share them with safe others or share them with people in if you need to set boundaries with them. All right. And I think I said set boundaries before. I don't remember if I said that, but it's definitely on my list. No, I didn't. I'll go back to that in a second though. All right, but deal with your feelings, manage your feelings. That's what this whole post is about, managing your feelings. All right. And going back into what was the last step after manage your time, set boundaries. You don't need to be everything to everybody. You cannot be everything to everybody. And they will not love you more just because you're trying to be everything to everybody. You will actually find out, like I did the hard way, that means that you're not going to fully be any of the things you're trying to be to the people that you're trying to be them to. And they'll be frustrated with you a lot because you're going to be letting people down, including yourself and the people you love the most. So set boundaries. No is a complete sentence, and it can be said politely without clarification, qualification, justification, or anything else. You may not even need to make an explanation. As a matter of fact, the more you explain yourself to people, the more they feel they have the right to correct you. And they will tell you why you need to do what they want you to do, whether it's in your best interest or not. So say no, set boundaries, all right? And drop me a comment and let me know how good you are at setting boundaries. You can just give me an emoji if you don't have the words. Do you set boundaries? I think too many people avoid setting boundaries because they don't want to hurt people's feelings. And in doing that, they hurt themselves. They complicate their lives. So again, drop me an emoji or a word or two. Are you good at setting boundaries, or are you Mr. or Miss or they everything to everybody and therefore nothing to anybody? Let me know. All right. Last but not least, as we get into this, um, reach out for help if you need it. Now, help may be, hey, I need somebody else to make the potato salad, or not potato salad, what do we make? Stuffing right now, right? Or turkey or whatever. It may be cook a dish. It may be, can you watch the kids? It may be, can you give me a minute while I go on a spa trip because I just need to calm my nerves? Or it may be something more serious than that. Do not hesitate to reach out and ask for help. Um, just a period at the end of that. You are not weaker for asking for help. You'll be stronger. That to me, that call that I made or that message that I sent my friend last week, I was asking for help. And I said at the end of it, I could just use a little light, and I wasn't being melodramatic. Later on, they sent me a message back, let me know that they were thinking about me, and that was helpful. But don't hesitate to ask for help. Now, if you've stuck with me this long, thank you, thank you, thank you. And hopefully you got some things that you can take with you that are going to help you to have a better holiday season this year than ever before, because you're going to remember to take care of yourself and balance your emotions. Some of these things that I've shared may not seem like it is emotional, but sometimes moving your body does help to balance your emotions. Now, this could be a part one of several, because we could get into how to deal with toxic relatives. We could get into how to set boundaries at the holidays. We could do so much more. And if you feel like you like more, make sure to let me know in the comments or DM me. I'll be happy to provide more content. It can be live so that we can engage and talk to each other, or it can be um, videos on my YouTube channel, uploads on my Instagram, or even video responses in the comments. If you're watching this via the replay, please engage with this video in the same way, because I'm still going to get back to you, because I love you and I appreciate you. So anyway, again, thank you for sticking with me this long. Please remember to like, to follow, to subscribe. Remember another thing for me, please. Don't just make memories this year for the holidays. Have a happy, love filled experience, because that's what matters. Until next time, it's about that time for me to let you have your night, have your day back, or whatever time of day it is in your neck of the woods. But until next time, it's your girl, Dr. Tarika Lewis, otherwise known as Dr. Lou. I am your partner in personal growth, and I am so happy that you're here with me. Thank you so much for showing up. And if you don't remember anything else that I've said during this live, please know that I love you, I believe in you. And for now, I am out.